Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the For the Win Xbox podcast, your number one source for all things Xbox. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into Halo Infinite, talk a little bit about Halo. It is the 20th anniversary of Halo 2, which we were all a part of the launch for that, which is scary. We're also going to talk about Game Pass because April games are rolling in, some games are leaving, and so Game Pass continues to be awesome. And then last but not least, we're going to get into some personal things for the Win Corner. Lots of exciting updates. But before we do, a quick little word from our sponsor, superscorcher.com. Home of the Super Scorcher, the best replica available of Elon Musk's infamous Not A Flamethrower, crafted using authentic components. This propane-powered beast shoots flames up to 6 feet with limitless customization options available. Your flamethrower can be as unique as you are. Pyromania meets playtime with Super Scorcher. Customize yours today and let the flames begin. Henry, can you show us the new product that superscorcher.com is going to be selling in the near future?
We have two new products.
Oh, show us.
Well, actually, technically it's four. So,
okay.
One, we have the range increase on the Super Scorcher Mark 1.
Nice.
Testing looks like it can get to 10 feet, 15 feet in ideal conditions. So there is
Love
that.
It.
That's an add-on you can do to a Super Scorcher. But 10, 15 feet isn't enough. We know people want range when it comes to throwing flames. And so we have two products that we will be carrying from Exothermic Technologies Pulse Fire line of flamethrowers. We have the UBF, the underbarrel flamethrower. It is in its handheld mode right there as it is right now, but it can also be mounted to any standard Picatinny rail, so it can go underneath the front of your rifle. So you have your shotgun and a flamethrower all in one. We also have the Pulse Fire LRT, the long range torch. It's another model. It has a longer runtime. They both have the capability of reaching around 25 feet. The UBF can run for 8 continuous seconds. The LRT can run for 20 continuous seconds, but that's not enough. We will also be carrying the backpack fuel tank attachment that can be attached to either the LRT or the UBF, bringing your runtime up to a total of over 4 minutes.
How many gallons of gasoline can that puppy hold?
26.
Good.
No, wait, not 26. 26 pounds. My bad.
26 pounds. Okay.
It's 26 pounds when you have it. So I don't remember. I looked up the other day how many. It's like 3 quarts or something.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So lots to be excited about. Superscorcher.com. Use what's the code again? I am blanking hard. Pyro10. Pyro10 get 10% off. Be a great time. So this past week was the 20th anniversary of Halo 2, I believe. And there was a lot of talk online, but I just thought it would be cool to open up before we get into some of the Halo Infinite drama that's forever ongoing. Where were you when Halo 2 released, and what's a core memory maybe you have of the time Halo 2 was released? November, what was it? I'm just guessing 13th, 2007? 11? November 11th.
November 11th, 2004.
2004. Look at me. I'm a Halo fan. Where were you guys?
I was in high school.
Yeah. Same. I remember.
That's it.
Great podcast, guys. All right. Anything
I
else
thought
for the
John
good of
was
the
gonna
pod?
go more.
Good
I thought
Lord.
John was gonna elaborate more on that.
Yanking teeth to get you guys to talk about our favorite game in the whole world. Like, what are we even doing here?
It's because it's
2004.
depressing.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago. Like,
Don't be depressed. Okay, Henry.
Too late.
What's
So
your
I
It was
core
remember-
20
memory?
years ago.
I remember.
I had
that
braces.
I worked
You
that day. I mean, I didn't work. I was at school that day, and my dad was getting it for us. We didn't pre-order anywhere. I didn't pre-order a lot of games growing up. We didn't pre-order, so he was just waiting in line and he's like, "Okay, GameStop has this if you get it today, and then Best Buy has this if you get it today." And so we said, "Go to Best Buy." And so he went to Best Buy because they had a Halo 2 limited edition watch that you got with the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember doing that, and he brought it home. I want to say after I was already home from school, but I don't remember. And I remember the first thing I did was hop online, and I went to Rumble Pit, and it was on Beaver Creek. So I remember my very first Halo 2 match online ever. So that sticks out a lot. I remember my very first Halo 1 match ever too. Just can't say the same about Halo 3.
Yeah. I remember Halo 3.
I mean, I think I remember the first match I did on Halo 3's beta.
Oh yeah, because we did play the beta like a lot. So then when the game came out, it was like, well, we've already played it like a lot,
right?
You know, so it wasn't like coming home from GameStop with Halo 2 at midnight or 1 in the morning, you know, and like, you know.
Right.
John,
exactly.
you remember when you were beta testing Halo 3, and I feel like I kept asking you if you were beta testing Halo 3, and you kept being like, I'm not allowed to say, I'm not allowed to say, I'm not, and you would just refuse to tell me.
We used to do playtesting at Microsoft all the time. I don't even know if they still have that program or not, but
I don't think so.
It was so fun because I
did it a couple times.
I play tested like Halo 3 campaign level, where you're in the mongooses with the Marines shooting rocket launchers at the huge things, you know.
Do you know what I play tested? I only remember two. I did it maybe like 3 or 4 times total, and it was great, and it was fun. Like just fun to do it, fun to go to the store afterwards and, you know, buy some games or a controller or whatever. But I play tested like a racing game. I don't remember which one, and a new dashboard update. I sat there for, you know, an hour and a half or whatever, and they just asked me, okay, can you open go to controller settings? And then I just would have to navigate there, and it was just like, and they just ask for feedback on it, and like, what do you like? What do you not like? It was literally, I'm just like, oh man, this isn't like
I can
cool
one up
game.
that. I can one up that. My very first play test that I did
for Microsoft.
Yes, my very first Microsoft play test I ever did. I didn't play anything. I did a survey. They asked me to do the play test, and when I got there, they just had me do a survey that took like 45 minutes to do. It was a long survey. And,
yeah, wow.
And then I went to the Microsoft store, and I got like Windows XP, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, we used to just get Windows XP and then sell it.
Yeah, because it was
because it was Windows XP Pro or something, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It was like $100-something, and so it's like I'm a big Microsoft Xbox player already, so I have all the first-party games.
Right.
And so I'm gonna get the software worth the most. And
because I play tested Halo 3, and I still need to buy the Legendary Edition because I'm on the DVD, like very briefly.
Yeah.
When they're talking about it. It's only in the Legendary Edition, though, I think, with the helmet and everything. And then I remember Gears of War PC, and then some kind of real-time strategy game, maybe an Age of Empires or something like that. Those are the three off the top of my head that I remember the most. But
it's a great time.
I remember I did Shadowrun before it came out. Like
That's cool.
It was so early that like so many of the weapons were just like straight polygons, no texture at all. So like I remember the rocket launcher, like it looked like a PVC pipe. That's like all it looked like. And like a lot of the spells were named something different. Like you guys played Shadowrun, so you know the strangle, which was like the shards or whatever that would hold people. It was a vine. It was, and they were still shards. They were shards at the point I was playing, but they were like untextured. But the text on the thing said vine. So it was originally like you would cast out and like all these entanglement vines would grow, and that's how they would like strangle you. And I guess at some point in development they said, maybe just like weird ice spike things instead of vines. That makes more sense to cast out, I guess, as a magic spell.
Yeah,
that one was fun because that was a LAN party. It was all multiplayer, and it was like 16 dudes, and just
that's sick.
And it was all of us in a room, so that we were trash talking to each other. We had headsets on, talked to our teams. It was literally like a LAN party, even with a pizza break in the middle. Like,
whoa.
It was so that one really, really sticks out in my mind because they also had like pulled us aside and were asking for a ton of feedback, and I think that one was like a 2-day thing. So I went and played Shadowrun for 8 hours on a Saturday and 8 hours on a Sunday.
Dude,
nice.
Yeah.
Like, where's your tree of life now, you little troll?
It was really cool because we all had no idea about the game, right? And all of us just progressed together and got better at the game, and just it went from like 16 dudes fumbling around to like having coordinated attacks and doing everything. It was really cool.
Shadowrun was our backup LAN game forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I have very fond memories. I always enjoyed that game. I remember Ray running around as a little dwarf nonstop. Very hard to kill.
I remember I switched to a troll eventually. I think I was playing as humans originally. No, humans. Elves. I was playing as elves originally for their regenerating health. But then being able to get reduced damage from automatic weapons was a really good perk to being a troll, I thought. So
yeah, I love the perk. I would play as a human, and I love the perk of just warping through walls and do this animation. Whoosh, whoosh.
Dude, I can hear it in my head right now.
I just did that that was my go-to like movement, and I just like that was my thing. No healing, no whatever. Just like give me that, and I'll just use it at the perfect time. I loved it. Because you could go up through ceilings, through floors, through walls.
Yeah, you'd have to. It's whatever direction you were moving. So you would crouch and hit it, and then you would go through the floor.
Yeah, I loved that. I love it. If
like that game had a campaign, I don't think the world was quite ready for, especially the console world was not quite ready for a multiplayer only FPS.
Yeah. And now it's so normal.
It's so normal now.
Yeah.
And like in the PC world, there was some of that with like Quake 3 and Counter-Strike, and Unreal Tournament. But Unreal Tournament didn't have a campaign. Excuse me. So like in the PC world, it was happening a little bit, but still most FPS on PCs did have a campaign. And so I think it was too early on that, especially because it was on console as well. So if they had a campaign, especially because Shadowrun being a tabletop RPG has a renowned world, there's so much world you could just take from to like create a great campaign. So I feel like Shadowrun fans were let down by the fact that there wasn't something like that. So if they had any kind of campaign, even if it was short, and just had an amazing multiplayer, that would have really. I think we would still be talking about Shadowrun more often today.
Yeah, it's ahead of its time.
That game is like near and dear to me.
I remember my obviously Halo 2 memory. It's documented on my YouTube channel. We went to the mall and waited in line on a school night. Parents let us go out, and we drove to the mall, waited in line, and there was like tons of people there. There was one group that was waiting to go to GameStop, one group that was waiting to go to EB Games in the mall. There's a little feuding going on, but once they opened the doors to the mall, everyone went their separate ways. And I remember it being a big deal because we were waiting outside the EB Games storefront, and they had the gate down, and then it like hit midnight, and they weren't opening the gate, and then 12:01, 12:02, and they weren't opening the gate, and people started getting really antsy, like, come on, what's going on? The GameStop guy, the 18-year-old guy is just standing there, and then, John, you'll remember this, like, some guy just yells, cell phones don't lie. Cell phones can't lie. It's just like 12:02. People are just losing their mind. But I remember we went and we picked up our copies and like 5 other copies for people in our group. So we walked out with like, I don't know, 2 or 3 steel books. And I
was not 17 and they still sold me like 5 copies of the game. So it's a miracle we walked out of there with those.
And we walked out.
Did GameStop ID for M-rated games? Because I know it's like not law; it's just a policy for a lot of stores.
Well, we were EB Games,
right? Okay. Well, I was saying I shopped at GameStop mostly, so like I don't remember EB Games like that much. Like, did they always ID for like M-rated games?
I mean, I've been ID'd for M-rated games at stores. I don't know if EB was so long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember if EB was one of those. I remember like the first M-rated game I bought on my own. I was like only 12, and I bought Perfect Dark at Target, and they didn't ID me or ask for my mom.
And that's like that was like violent, bloody game.
Yeah, I was stoked. I was like, "Whoa, my gosh!" That was actually the only my first M-rated game that my parents let me have was Perfect Dark.
Dude, I'll never forget one of David's friends let him borrow it, and he's just playing Perfect Dark in the living room.
Shout outs to John Raring.
My mom just like walks by and just takes a glance over the screen and just like, what are you playing? It's just like blood splattering on the walls and floors.
She had a few moments like that,
We would just do stuff.
Maybe 10 years later, we were in the same living room and we were playing Gears of War. And she was not happy. And her and Dad probably got in a little fight about it. Now, being a married person and knowing how these things work, they probably had a little talking back and forth. And here I am in like, I don't know, 8th grade or something, chainsawing an alien half-blood, spraying onto the camera lens. For what like that, at that point, that was by far the goriest game I had ever played, or we have ever played, like in our house. And so it was like, yo, what? Mom's like, Halo is one thing, you're shooting guns at each other, but now we're taking chainsaws to like flesh, and the justification was it's aliens.
Realistic graphics,
it's a realistic.
That's also the point. That's the other thing is how that 360 generation is when things really start entering like near photorealism, you know,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
For me, that was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. My mom saw me playing, and she saw me do Scorpion's Fatality, where he throws a spear and it goes into somebody's head, and he like 1, 2, 3, and he yanks their head clear off their body. That was the first time my mom said something about gory video games.
Oh man. And now 20 years later we've come full circle with Halo 2, and on Insignia they've reworked Xbox Live so you can actually play Halo 2 and have a close to original Xbox Live experience on your original Xbox through Insignia, which is really crazy. I haven't tried it out yet, but I want to for sure. For sure. But great game, great memories.
Yep. Different
Halo
time.
2 really changed the game in so many ways. But
yeah, we have Halo 2 to thank for like modern matchmaking. Like that was the first game to do it.
Yeah. Speaking of matchmaking, Halo Infinite. Okay, so Halo Infinite's been doing Halo Infinite things. They are, overpricing bundles and having problems with their network. There's been a little bit of talk lately because they just dropped their new, I don't know, what are they, content drop or whatever they say it is.
Yep. They're not seasons anymore.
Yeah, they don't do seasons. Whatever. 10 new armor sets for about $200. Prices are more expensive than the previous Spirit of Fire and Cyber Showdown updates. So armor packs are $15 to $20 each. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, my question is, I mean, can these be considered microtransactions? Or are we just seeing inflation in video games? Microtransactions used to be 99 cents, $1.99. Like that's what I would consider a microtransaction in a game. And now
I feel like $5 is the highest a microtransaction can go, or should go.
At that point, it's just DLC, isn't it? Like that's the difference at $15-$20. Like,
yeah.
But then again, if you're Bill Gates, $20 is a microtransaction. It's like that's less than half a penny to you. So maybe they're stuck in this Microsoft world where everyone has money and they're just like, yeah, it's not that expensive. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
And then they have the new map that 343 released, Corrosion, which
it hasn't released yet. They're drip feeding it, so it's going to come out in a couple weeks.
I did see that. You're right. I did see that on Twitter. They're like, all new, like coming to Halo Infinite, and they're like, new this, new that, new that, new that, and then new map coming soon. I'm like, you guys, like, what are we doing? But apparently it looks bad. I haven't actually seen it, but it looks worse than a lot of Forge maps, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it looks pretty unfinished. Looks kind of like a Halo 3 map, which, like the visuals aren't everything. And I complain about the visuals in newer Halo's games, because it's too much stuff, So if it plays good, it'll be good. But It's just, we're more than halfway through this like console generation, and we're still just like not seeing anything that's like impressing. And I've been over the fact that the Halo community has been keeping Infinite afloat while 343 does next to nothing, with actual content. And so like there's got to be some kind of balance between content for the store and like content that's playable, and it's just the scales are way in favor of the store purchasable content, and the actual content being added to the game is minimal compared to what's being added to the store.
And I think people are buying it. Like I would be so curious to see the numbers, because I mean, they wouldn't like keep pricing them so high if no one was buying them, right? They got to be like making something off it. But the thing that kills me is there's that, and then I've seen this a lot this week. The update somehow made things worse, and so they put in an anti-cheat, and now there's more cheaters than ever. So not only do they have a very big matchmaking problem that's happening, where people can't find matches and they're getting put against squads of 4, and there's this whole matchmaking thing where the game decides whether you're going to win or not. All this stuff. Now they have networking problems on top of it, where people are cheating now more than ever. And it's really interesting to me, and we're going to land somewhere because I want to ask a final question before we move on to this. But on my For You page of X, I interact with a lot of Halo stuff, so I see Halo stuff. And I saw 2 tweets, 2 posts back to back, one and then the other one right below it. And I was like, this is the tale of the 2 worlds that the Halo community lives in. Because the top tweet is someone complaining about all the problems with Halo Infinite, and the bottom one is someone talking about how great it is. And I thought I would just read these to you guys and get your reactions or what you think. And these are people I don't even follow, don't even know, who they still are just playing this game. And the first guy says, "It's truly sad what this game has become since the network update. You add an anti-cheat system, and yet people are cheating even more. Players are 4-stacking ranked arena with lag switches and walls. What a joke. Revert the effing servers." Then, right below that, the very next tweet is this guy saying, "Halo Infinite was always great, and while it deserves criticism for some of the live service shortcomings, it's incredible to me that those issues somehow created the perception that the overall game was not good." And I was like, we have a fan base that is living in 2 different worlds. I don't know, maybe those 2 things can be true at the same time, but
I think that's exactly it.
But like, how can you say, and this is where I want to land. This game, 343 has already kind of confirmed that they're looking forward. Halo Infinite is not the future of Halo. 10-year plan, dead, not happening. What do we think the legacy is going to be of this game? Truly, like the good, the bad. Where does this fall in line with the Halo story thus far?
Obviously, I think the campaign plays a big factor in how people will remember it, and people did really do love. They enjoyed the campaign for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and I think part of its legacy is still going to be people in the future that didn't play it during these problematic times with the multiplayer experience, and then so they're going to play the campaign, play it in whatever online state it is in at the time. So let's say 3 years from now, right? The legacy is going to continue to build on. And so in retrospect, I think it could be fine. The really great campaign that it had, I think, is going to be a saving grace for it. If you want to talk about like what's going on with the legacy of the game in the future.
Yeah. John?
Yeah.
If you can take yourself 10,000 feet in the air and look down at this thing, because I know we are not unbiased, and we have emotion and history. I mean, we talked about, we were at the Halo 2 launch, right? We have history with this franchise. We're not going to be unbiased, and that's obvious. But it is hard because, like Henry said, the campaign did. I mean, I enjoyed the campaign. I played through it. There was a lot of good things about it. There's some things I didn't like, but like overall, it was a step in the right direction. I really felt. But how much this multiplayer fiasco of the last 2 years and it just keeps going and no end in sight. How much is that going to weigh in? You know, what do you think?
Yeah, and this is kind of what, we were texting earlier about things that happened in the last 10 years under a certain Microsoft employee's watch. Mm-hmm. And Halo Infinite happened under his watch. Mm-hmm. And this, the state of the Halo franchise he's responsible for, and the accountability that 343 doesn't seem to have is on him, and we're seeing games like Forza being released with absolutely ridiculous requirements and grinds to just unlock a part to put on your car. And then Turn 10's having to go back and rework the whole thing and change it to make people happy. It's like, who's overseeing all this? Who's responsible for this? And as far as like the legacy of the Halo series, like there's no good Halo to play right now. Like MCC is just like completely messed up. I mean, there's no good Halo multiplayer to play right now.
Yeah, that's more accurate, I think.
MCC multiplayer is completely just janked. Infinite has all of its issues. So right now, the only thing Halo does have going for it is the campaign. Like I enjoyed Halo Infinite's campaign, but it felt like rushed and unfinished, and there's just empty parts of the map, and you could tell it was just like it was very like haphazardly done, and there's like some cool parts, but there's also just like a lot of stuff that would happen that would completely take you out of the immersion. Like it didn't feel like in like a Halo 3 or a Halo 2 and you're going through making your way across like a Halo ring, and I guess a lot of that immersion has to do with like the flood, killing elites and brutes. You can only do that so often without any kind of variety, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what's next for them. I think if they're still making money off Infinite, then they're going to just keep doing the same things. So,
yep, we'll see. I think Halo Infinite's legacy will be similar to probably 5 and 4, in that people look back at 5 and I go, yeah, Warzone, that was fun. Like we played a lot of multiplayer there, did some cool stuff, but then it dies, and it dies an eternal death. Because there are still
no
people
one's going back to play it or replay that campaign.
Very few.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, we say no one. I'm sure there's people who are still just, that's their game. But I would say, I agree with you, a majority are, and I think that is what Infinite's legacy sadly will be. It'll be like, hey, there'll be a lot of people like, we played this a lot when it was out, and now we're never touching it. Whereas, we go back to the Halo 1, 2, and 3 campaigns I multiple times a year, and it's not just for nostalgia. I mean, those are beautiful games all around. In the same way, I would go back to, like Gears of War and just some other great games with great stories and fun gameplay. So it'll be interesting to see where Infinite falls in the overall legacy. But Henry, do you have something you wanted to?
I think it's going to be preferred over Halo 4 and 5. I think Halo 4 really alienated a lot of people.
Yeah.
The campaign felt disappointing, and the multiplayer alienated a lot of fans. I know I liked it, but I also liked Call of Duty a lot at the time, so maybe I was the demographic they were going for in the Halo 4 era. So I might have a bias there. My judgment might not be super solid in that regard. And Halo 5, a lot of people didn't really care for the campaign, and the multiplayer, again, alienated a lot of people. I know we liked the multiplayer in Halo 5. I like the multiplayer in Halo 4 as well. But when it comes to where Infinite comes in that regard, I think you're right. It's going to be remembered in line with Halo 4 and 5. But I think all things considered, like, most people enjoyed the sandbox, at least initially. They just got tired of it. And then you combine that with a relatively well-received campaign. So out of the recent Halo games, it still is, I would say, on the top there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to refer back to, we were talking about me being on the DVD of the Legendary Edition of Halo 3. And there's like a whole 11-minute section of this, like the special features of Bungie playtesting Halo 3. And so that's where I was in the playtesting room, and, they're all just talking about this game. And I think what a lot of developers have lost, and what the Halo franchise has lost, and for sure 343 is not practicing, is the last line of this section. One of the devs says, "If we really believe it's not ready to go out the door, it won't go out the door." And it's just it's footage of developers actually testing their games and fixing them before they launch, and that has just completely gone away. And I feel like it's somebody's responsibility to hold the studios that they're in charge of to these standards of quality and playtesting.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that was shattered. Like I've said it before, when I got Master Chief Collection on my birthday and we tried to play it, and I just I couldn't believe that a game would be purchasable in an unworkable state. It was just so wild to me. But it'll be. I am curious to see where Infinite lands in the legacy of Halo. I would rank it. I would go 1, 2, 3, or maybe 1, 3, 2, depending. But 1, 2, 3, Infinite, and that's saying a lot because, I mean, it's no question I've been outspoken and vocal about my issues with the game. So, yeah, man, I just wish they could have just kept Warzone in. Warzone probably could have kept me playing. There's just so many things Halo 5 had, and it
went backwards so far from Halo 5.
And Halo 5 wasn't perfect, and it didn't launch perfect and whatever, but still, it's
vehicles, weapons, guns, maps, play.
Yeah. We did Warzone for just giggles, and it was it was casual. That was almost the start of my casual era, to be honest.
In retrospect, I feel like Halo 5 really did a lot of things right. The way they handle microtransactions, I find to be perfectly valid. The fact that Forge was delayed by only a month, I think was fine for a lot of people. And adding in fan requested features, like when they brought back the original
pistol and battle rifle.
The original
That was
and the
great.
rocket launcher.
Yeah,
Like,
that was great.
Because the rocket launcher still came in after the fact. They brought in the original battle rifle and pistol from launch, but then like they had redesigned the spanker, and it was almost entirely just an aesthetic change. They made it look like a traditional rocket launcher rather than the sci-fi rocket launcher that Bungie had designed. And there was enough feedback that they, at some point, released the original spanker. And I think I don't remember if there was a difference between how both spankers like worked in game. I think it was like really, really minor. Like we're talking like fractions of a second of like reload time or something like that. Just that way it's not just a reskin. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And with Halo 5, I thought it really was a good way of interacting with the fan base, and unfortunately I feel like it was the fan base there that dropped the ball. It didn't support the game rather than the other way around.
Yeah. A lot of good things. So yeah, and it also felt Halo 5 just felt stable, man. Like
Yeah.
I never felt like it's just this intangible thing. I'm not a game developer and I don't know code or network, but you play Halo 5, it just feels stable. And I play Halo Infinite and it feels so flimsy, like paper, and like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it because I don't know the workings, but it's just a feeling. Like it just is so like
give out at any second.
Yeah, it's just it's a crazy thing. But I mean, Henry, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, Halo 5 was just like stable, rock solid, consistent, and then I play Infinite and I feel like the warthog just bouncing around it's just, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, lots going on there with Infinite. We'll see what goes down. Game Pass. Let's talk Game Pass. Every couple months, I become more of a believer. Henry was
Took you long enough.
Henry was a believer from day one.
I did drop off for a minute because after initially launched, I was like, oh, I have all these games. Really, like it took a while for Game Pass to really warm up. But like once it stopped being just first party games and started really, really branching out, it became really hard to ignore. You know?
Yeah. And they're making plays, and I'm excited. I mean, Diablo, we talked about it last week. Diablo 4 is on Game Pass. But here's a quick, I'll just run down this list super fast. Here's what's releasing in April.
The next, like, 2 weeks.
Wave 1, of Game Pass, some new games. So we got Super Hot, Mind Control Delete, which looks like is that like a DLC maybe? Lego 2K Drive. Sequel-ish. Yeah, it doesn't look like a full game. Doesn't feel like it. Anyways, Lego 2K Drive, Lil Gator Game, EA Sports PGA Tour, Kona, Botany Manor, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Harold Halibut. Any games on there that you guys are excited about, excited to play, want to try out?
Harold Halibut looked interesting. I think that's that claymation game we saw a preview for. Where did I see it? But it at least just like looked totally different. Shadow of the Tomb Raider I already own. Otherwise, that would be those Tomb Raider games are good.
Yeah, this is Super Hot. This part of Super Hot's been on Game Pass before, so it's just coming back around.
Gotcha.
So I mean, like, if you ever played Super Hot, it's a really cool like subversion of like the first person genre. It's got a pretty cool, very unique slow motion, I guess how you would describe it, like gimmick. It's definitely like one of those things where like you play through it and it's a really cool experience the whole time, but like you don't go back and replay it. But at the same time, you wish there was more. Right?
Right.
I
get that.
Because like each level is almost like problem solving when you get into the game and you like choose where to like you figure out what's the optimal solution, because you can't just run through like a normal FPS game. And it reminds me of like at the end of the day, like once you're done with your run, that entire scenario plays out like a John Wick scene, right? And that's how you play the game, like catching the other dude's like knife, throwing at the other dude, shooting him back. And then if you were to watch in real time, it would look like a John Wick scene. And then, but you know, because it's problem solving, puzzle solving of sorts, it's hard to go replay the game back immediately,
right?
Because you know the puzzle, but you want more. So you want, you know, you want more scenarios, you want more puzzles, essentially. So yeah, it's definitely one that I go back and I played it multiple times over the years. So then that's for both normal, super hot, mind control, delete. Both of them are like awesome games. So I'm glad to see that come back around.
That's great. I'm definitely going to play through the Tomb Raider stuff. I'm also excited for EA Sports PGA Tour.
Yeah, I like golf games.
I have a history with Tiger Woods golf games, and I was actually, no word of a lie, I was playing the Xbox original version of Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2003 this week, and I played probably like, I don't know, over 18 holes, and man, that game's so freaking fun. And so to see PGA Tour on here, I'm like, ooh, I want to just mess around with that, get into that a little bit. And John, we should try and get Dad to get on it. I don't know if he has Game Pass, though. I don't know what tier subscription he has. But I bet he would just buy it anyways. But that would be fun to just play around on Pebble Beach with Dad. So we should definitely try and get that going. Yeah. But if it's fun, I hope it's simple. That's what I loved about Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2003 is it's like just this pretty simple game, just complex enough to give a little bit of a skill gap and some fun challenges, but not crazy complicated. So
golf games can be the most relaxing type of like game imaginable, honestly.
It's up there with Hunter Call of the Wild, that's for sure.
Like playing Neo Turf Masters on the Neo Geo, like as much as I love the Neo Geo, it's full of like action games. When people ask her like, "What's my favorite title on the entire platform?" It's always Neo Turf Masters. It's just a perfect, amazing golf game.
And they can be like super hyped too, because I was playing and it's like I got a hole in one and I was freaking out, you know? It's definitely so cool.
It's calming at the same time as it is like exhilarating.
Yeah, then there's like
I love Hot Shots. I love playing the Hot Shots series on PlayStation. That's like probably my favorite like PlayStation exclusive franchises ever. Is Hot Shots Golf, and which now is just called Everybody Golf. And it's like the one reason I keep my PS4 hooked up is to play Everybody's Golf.
Yeah. I love it. Game Pass. If you're not on it, get on it. It's a great time. Yeah, it's exciting. Anything else Game Pass related that you guys are pumped on? I did start playing whatchamacallit, Evil West, and it's freaking cool, dude. I played for an hour, and it's fun, man. It's fun. Nice. Anytime you can uppercut an enemy and then keep them in the air by shooting your gun to finish off the kill, that's like... The way they designed it is really, really clever, and the whole first level being like a mission type tutorial the way they just introduced the system one by one by one by one, and all these moves, and then it started just like click in my brain. Oh, I can combine these for all these sweet different types of combos. So you can like run, do a jumping like UFC punch down, uppercut the guy, and then just like shoot him, leave him up in the air, or you can like shoot him once, or you can jump back up and punch him again. There's just all these cool combos.
Yes.
And then there's like, I don't even have all the guns unlocked. So you have like a rifle and a pistol. And so you can like, you know, like basically like uppercut a guy, look at a different guy that's like, you know, if you uppercut a guy and he flies above you, and then in your field of view you can see a guy down sights, you can take out your rifle, snipe him real quick, and then like shoot the other guy on the way down with your pistol. Like there's just so many sick combos in the fighting system. It I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. So I'll probably play some of that tonight. But if you haven't played Evil West, I would recommend it. And I'm not someone who recommends games that much, because I usually play them for like 30 minutes and then I call it quits if I'm not like hooked. So
yeah.
Anywho, last thing for the win corner. What's going on with us personally? Henry got a new job.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
it sure did.
So we were having conversations today. We were texting a lot today about the future of the podcast. Half-hearted joking, and also honest, honest discussion. Reality. John's been so dramatic. But about some of the implications, because we are an Xbox podcast, and Henry has started working at the mothership, got a brand new job offer. So, yeah, congrats, Henry.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's appreciated.
So, yeah, anything you want to add?
I don't
to
even
that,
want to
Henry?
make any jokes because I don't want it to come back and haunt us.
I don't
So,
think
I mean,
it's going to
it's
be that big a deal.
Either I end up leaving the show, which is fine. The other option,
It's not
we
fine, but okay.
shift.
Yeah. Okay.
The other option is we shift our paradigms and we figure something else out. I just need to get clarification in the future on, because I don't. I will be working at Microsoft, but I don't know what any kind of like media agreements or anything it would be. So
Yeah.
still gotta
And
get that.
like I watch one guy's YouTube channel and he works at IGN, but his YouTube channel is like his personal channel, and so he always makes it very clear that what's said here does not reflect the views of IGN and blah 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 and all that stuff. And I know it's a little different because he's also just like in the media, and so he's just talking more about what he's already what his job already is doing. So it's a little different, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. John, what's up with you? What's the latest?
Well, the latest for me, I have a personal goal this year to get to 200,000 gamer score, and I think once I'm there, I might kind of like do a soft like retire from gamer score. Like I'll just like part of the reason like I'm not playing Diablo 4 right now, besides the season 3 not being that interesting, but also just like there's no achievements in it, so I like playing games to get achievements. So I'll probably go back to more of just playing whatever I want to play because it's fun, not just playing new things just because I can unlock achievements in them. But I'm at 190,860. So I'm just under 10K away, which is, only completing like 10 games. But so recently I've played through Control and some of the DLC.
Nice.
And picked up Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy for 360. I started that game. A lot of times what I'll do when I'm like wanting to figure out what to play, I'll look at what game I started the longest ago and then try and complete that. So like I think I started the original trilogy, January 7th, 2008. Got a few achievements in it and then never completed it. So I just started playing like that again. So
nice.
And then I've got my PC kind of set up, and so I've got the last couple of days gotten Game Pass on PC and downloaded some like Windows only games that have achievements. I also kind of wanted to try Diablo on PC to see if I liked it more than controller. I don't think I will, but so I've been messing around with the Age of Empires games recently too.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Man, you're the last true achievement hunter.
Yeah.
Not many left. Well,
I feel like once everybody else started doing achievements, the concept of like really keeping track of your achievement score kind of lost meaning. At least as far as comparing it to other people's.
Do you know what PlayStation has, John? Which people are asking for Xbox to come out with an equivalent. And for achievement hunters, I think it'd be really cool. You know what platinum trophies are on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool if they had something like that for Xbox? Like something special to just show you 100% of the game? Or do you not really care?
I mean, the way I track it is, on trueachievements.com, and I'm very much like a completionist. So like, I really want to try and get all the achievements in a game if it's possible, so like my completion percentage is almost 56%. So I've completed almost half the games I've ever like played. And then I've completed 116, but that includes all DLC too, which I'm not sure if. Yeah, so that includes all DLC. So like completing the game with all the DLC marks it as completed. So, but yeah, it'd be cool if they had something actually like on your profile or something that marked like that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's cool that they have like how many years you've been a member of Xbox Live or whatever, and all that stuff. But I don't know, I feel like Xbox and the games on Xbox have just become so non-social that nobody even looks at people's profiles anymore, or even
Yeah, it's true.
Barely
your
talks
profile
to people
picture is the
anymore.
only thing that people really see.
I feel like that's just a thing that's kind of happened throughout all of like gaming. It's not just like a problem with the Xbox platform. Like, I don't look at my friends' Steam accounts anymore. I don't look at like when I'm playing on PlayStation. I don't look at their PlayStation accounts. I don't look at their Switch accounts either. And it's kind of a thing where just the way gaming has moved, it has moved away from that level of a social experience. And I don't know if that's that's a thing with society. I don't know if it's a thing with the changes in UI, because it is, again, seemingly with every form of like online gaming, or if it's a fact that it's lost its novelty. I feel like that's a bigger element of it, is that it's just expected now to be online and connected, and so you don't feel this need to see what someone else has been up to online.
Yeah, I think part of the problem too is the I don't think this is the right word, but the platform it's on. Because I use my Xbox app every week, and I'll send clips and I'll download clips and I'll use it to like just do different things. But the app itself is not that great. Like, it has a lot of problems. And if Xbox had a killer app that was just better, I feel like that could help. But it's obvious they're not putting a lot into making their app like an amazing integral experience. But we use our phones every day, for social things. So it makes sense to have a social thing for Xbox, but I don't really go on to my Xbox to message people. It's just not a thing. But I message people from my phone every day. So yeah, I don't know, but whatever. Different times. Yeah. On a personal note with me, honestly, quite a lot is changing and has changed. I'm looking for work right now. The contract with my current job is finished in the end of this month, and so I'm literally like kind of back to square one in a lot of ways when it comes to work. So I'm looking for work, and yeah, I'm kind of just tired of, for the last however many 3 or something years, been doing a lot of part-time side hustle, like side business, a lot of editing and production and odd jobs. I worked in a TV studio for a while. I've worked part-time filming, doing just all this random stuff, but I've never really had anything like, hey, 9 to 5, consistent, stable. And I'm really looking to move into something a little more established, consistent, stable. And it's different for me for sure and new. And so I've been just kind of applying at a lot of places and knocking on doors and having conversations with people. And there's some cool things in the works, but nothing is close to final till there's a contract signed. So definitely looking like hopefully to get into some type of vein of the gaming industry. Whether that's, working on social media content, even like working with people. I have a lot of experience doing stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's job hunting, as you guys know, just sucks in general. It's just like one of the most tedious, annoying things ever.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to, hopefully not get a job just doing something I hate that pays the bills, but maybe just get my foot in the door. I mean, I made the joke before about like, yeah, I'd be a janitor at Blizzard, but like something to kind of start me on a bit of a career path, I think would be great. But it's within my skill set. So I know there are things out there, but we will see what comes of that. And in the meantime, I'm still really building out what For the Win could look like as a business and a media company, and having a lot of conversations around that and putting in a lot of work. And so it's just kind of, just a lot of irons in the fire, but we'll see. We shall see.
Love it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone at home. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. And we will see you next week on For the Win. GG's, boys.
GG.
GG's.